good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. My name is Aaron Bolin. That's spelled Aaronbolin, and I'm one of the public information officers for the Scottsdale Police Department. I'm joined today by Detective Heinzelman, John Heinzelman. Spelling of his name is JohnHeinzelman. And today we're here to provide updated information related to the missing person case for 20-year-old Najib Jubi Monsif. We are heartbroken at the development of this case. It is not the outcome anyone in our community was hoping for. We all hoped Jubi would be found alive, in good health, and be able to be reunited with family and friends. Jubi Monsif was last seen in his home on September 23rd of 2021. He was reported missing to Scottsdale Police early that morning, which started a massive search effort to find him. As you may remember, he was an adult, but with autism and believed to have the mental capacity of an 8-year-old. His neighborhood was searched, as well as all surrounding desert areas and the canal immediately near to his home. When he was not immediately found, the search expanded and additional resources were utilized. Information was disseminated through social media and news media, and a silver alert was issued for him. Because of the media coverage, tips and potential sightings of Jubi poured in from across the valley and the state. Additional support came from the community, volunteers stepping up to help find him. And over the days and weeks that followed, Scottsdale Police received assistance from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, Arizona Department of Public Safety, the Central Arizona Project, and the FBI. Searches included the use of tracking dogs, air units, drones, and area searches by officers and deputies on foot, bicycle, and horseback. As additional time went by, other means of searching for Jubi included looking to the online gaming community that he participated in and examining electronic records on the devices and platforms that he used. Surveillance video was collected from the neighborhood and local businesses and also reviewed. No signs of Jubi were found on the videos that were collected. Last week, Scottsdale Police were notified that human remains were found at the Central Arizona Project pump station near Power Road in the Loop 202 Red Mountain Freeway. Those remains were forensically tested and were a DNA match for Jubi. There were no apparent signs of foul play. We want to offer our sincere thanks to all those who participated in the search for Jubi, and this includes the volunteers, his family, friends, our law enforcement partners, and the news media. I'd like to turn it over to Detective Heinzelman.
Good afternoon, and thanks for coming. At this point, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
You know, I think a lot of us are kind of wondering how, this terrible, terrible situation, how he ended up, so far away from his home. Obviously, we know there's a canal near his house. Do you guys believe that he fell in and?
There's a couple of different thoughts. He had made some statements to his family the day before he went missing about how he would never see them again, or words to that effect. Excuse me. The canal that runs right behind Jubi's house is the extension of that canal is where his remains were eventually located. It's a CAP, or a Central Arizona Project canal, that runs the length of the desert area and ends or stops there at this pumping station that has different rakes and different implements to remove things from the water, quite frankly. And the distance is about 11 miles, but from where his house was and from where the immediate area where he was missing, that would be something keeping in consistency with what we thought had happened. One of the theories being that he actually went in the canal.
Do you all believe that happened fairly close to then when he went missing originally?
Well, we believe it was probably within that first few hours of him going missing. We canvassed the area. We pulled video from different businesses in different places, and unfortunately, we found no evidence of him being anywhere else. There are some gates that lead on to the canal property. This particular canal, as compared with a SRP canal, which is wide open and has jogging trails and things next to it, this one has a fence that runs along both sides, and over every bridge there's a gate and things like that. But in that particular area, by Via Linda and Frank Lloyd Wright, roughly where that canal crosses, there is a bit of a gap between the two fence panels that are chained together with the chain and a lock. And our theory at this point is that it is possible that he could have worked his way between these two fence gates and been able to access the CAP property.
What was found on Jubi's devices and his online accounts?
We researched all of Jubi's cell phone as well as his computer and all of his gaming systems. At this point, it's normal everyday conversation with family, for example, on his cell phone. He did not do much other social media. His gaming device had some friends and some people that he communicated with, but all those ended up being sort of, they just weren't any evidentiary value, just with the way that there was nothing specific from the day or the days prior other than communication with his brother.
The only time he said, "You'll never see me again," was to his family members.
That's correct, yes.
And that was the night before he was missing, or the night before he walked out of the home?
Right. The night before he went missing, he was playing. He had spent time with his mother at her house. He had told her words to that effect, that I'll be missing you. And then the evening prior to the morning where he disappeared, there was conversation with his brother George, and he had told George the same thing, that I'm sorry, I'll be missing you. He didn't elaborate any further, and when asked, he said, "Oh, never mind. It's not important."
What day last week did you say the remains were found?
Last Tuesday afternoon, so a week from today, is when we were notified that the remains were found.
Who was it that found the remains?
It was one of the CAP workers who works at that pumping station had discovered the remains, again, in this system for removing items from the water, and unfortunately he was collected there. They had contacted the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, who then contacted us, knowing that we were working on a missing person.
I know we interviewed you the last time. I think it was only the month anniversary of him going missing, and we talked a lot about closure being important for the family in this. So can you kind of talk about this? It's not the outcome anybody wanted, but it's at least an outcome.
Right. It is an outcome. I personally have hesitated using the word closure. I've met with the family on a couple of occasions since we've made this discovery. The problem with it is it's an answer, but it's not the final answer. It is still a mystery as to how he got in there. We're only speculating that he was able to work the space that we thought he did.
That space, was that ever searched by the dogs back in when we were first starting the search?
Initially, we had tracking dogs on the scene. They did lead us from Jubi's house towards that direction. And as a matter of fact, if we've seen reports of the Albertsons and places like that, that area is on the exact path that would take someone, if they were continue, they would have gone to Albertsons. So it's consistent with what the dogs had found.
Going forward, will there be autopsy, toxicology? Is that going to happen?
The remains were collected, and autopsy was done. Some toxicology samples were collected. That's still pending as far as the results were. And a preliminary report, or at least some findings, were given to us that had stated that the pathologist had found no obvious signs of foul play at this point. But an official report is still pending from the medical examiner's office.
Does your investigation still keep going forward to try and find out what happened, how he ended up in there?
We here at the Scottsdale Police Department still have a few things that we're waiting for, some some more work that was being done, and we'll still continue that because, again, there is still a little bit. We're making a good educated guess that this is how it happened, but we'd still like, if we could certainly find some evidence on video or somebody's tip coming in that says they can give us a little bit more focused effort, we'd certainly take that.
Since it's been nearly 3 months, what can you tell us about the state of Jubi's remains when found?
Unfortunately, Jubi's remains were extremely decomposed, skeletonized for the most part, so a positive identification visually could not be made, and we needed to resort to forensic efforts with the lab and DNA.
Do you know how long that stretch of the canal is between his house and where he was found?
The canal length is approximately 11 miles between where he was found and roughly where his house is.
Any other questions?
You had multiple conversations with the family since, and what's that been like for you? Because obviously, you wanted to find Jubi healthy and safe, and they have been relentless in this search.
Right. We've worked very close with the family over these last 3 months. This is clearly not the outcome that we were hoping for. We were definitely hoping to have a positive, happy resolution, especially a week before Jubi's birthday. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But we're still in good communication with the family. They understand what is going on, and we'll continue to try to get some more answers for them as much as we can.
Quick question, when did you guys dial back your search with the dogs, the aircraft, the mounted units, all of those efforts? When were those?
Our efforts, I guess, dialed back after the first few weeks. Like we had done an extensive search with the neighborhood through the deserts on horseback and drones and other things. So once that had been searched, then it became more of a periodic search, especially with the canal. The possibility that he would have found himself in there was something that every couple of weeks we were getting reports from the investigators there. So it scaled back a little bit, but we continued to work right up until last week.
Thank you, John. Again, we'd just like to make sure that no one wanted this outcome in this case, and it is heartbreaking that this development happened this way. Again, we'd like to offer our sincere thanks to our law enforcement partners, our volunteers that helped search for him, and the media for making sure that we didn't forget about Jubi as we were searching to find him. So we thank you all for coming, and this concludes the news conference for now. Thank you.